Now we're just gonna go around and just give me an idea where my petals should kind of be.
But getting people comfortable is always hard. That's why I'm saying yes.
Because the magnet marker, or I mean, this did fire off. I was surprised. Okay, so I basically put them in just so we got a pattern left, because now I'm gonna add paint to it. So we're gonna start with our blue. I don't know what the blue I was into, and I'm just gonna start putting it in there. It's awful bright blue. I'll go with the duller blue. Okay. Kind of starting fresh again. Hoping I went the opposite way of Sherry. So you're gonna sneak your blue in. Now we're gonna go to our yellow. And sneak that up into there.
Bushes?
All right, so we got blue and we got yellow. Now we got to add our pink. Here somewhere. All right, pink to the other corner here. We're almost there. We got to put some paint on so we can wipe it out. All right, I don't know which brush to. All right, so you got some color on your tile now. And we're just going to try to smooth it out a little bit. And then we're going to pounce it. And then we're going to go in there and wipe our. I'm just trying to pounce a little bit to get those little bit of the lines out of there. Okay. Now we're going to come with our, really the only thing we can take with the Q-tip out is our centers. I kind of like the centers to stay till I get my blue in. This guy here. Okay, so we basically got our centers of our daisy going. There's my favorite little brush. Now we're going to go in our Denature alcohol and lavender oil. And with your dots, you're going to kind of do your C stroke. Oop. Oop. And start wiping out petals. So to the right, to the left. Okay. Keep going to where your petals are. Hoping he's there. Okay. Clean that up a little bit. Girls don't need peanut these days. All right, so. Okay. All right, so I'm basically still into my big flower here, just trying to clean up the petals a little bit more. And dipping into my lavender denature alcohol. Make sure your petals aren't uniform. Make them different sizes, different widths.
Now, how do you know when you've got enough of the
Blue or removed.
the area removed? Yeah.
Well, it's just, I'm more or less playing with my petals to give them a white effect, because you're going to come back over and still stick another blue over it to make it pop up. Wait, now I'm just trying to. All right, I'm happy with my middle one so far. So I'm going to go to this upper right one next. And you're basically doing the same thing again, taking your, I'm going to call it wipeout oil for right now. And coming back and doing another petal of the daisies. I think the work is trying to get your daisy petals to look good. Right now, I'm just still trying to wipe out petals. And then I'll come back and clean that up. Want to stick him in, you just kind of stick him in like that, because he's hiding between that. All right, I'm going to go back up in there and I'm going to try to clean those out a little bit more. Get some more of a white petals showing through. Okay, we're still into that upper right-hand corner daisies, just still cleaning out all those petals. Try to not make so much of it. Let's get those looking a little better. Trying to sneak that little petal in there. You don't really see. Sneaking up into there. Alright, so I'm going to wipe out my centers again. Just to keep so that we can keep our yellow in there. All right, how's that looking so far? I did. I did. All right, now we're going to go for the upper one. So it's just another C stroke for your petals. One way, then the other way. Then you're going to come back there and clean them out. This guy here, he's supposed to be kind of hiding, but all right, so I got that, I got that, I got that. I mean, you can always go back to your picture of your original pattern and then you can see for sure where those petals are supposed to go. And these two here are just two little C ones. Okay, back to these two that we're gonna sneak behind here. He kind of goes like that. He can kind of go like that. I guess I can sneak a third one in. I'm supposed to sneak a third one in. So let's try. So there we go. So that's about how your third one's gonna go. All right, let's go to this bottom right one next. Trying to show you the C and the C. Clean those three up a little bit. I don't like them. There we go. They're looking a little better now. All right, we're going to continue on. The leaf goes here, so it kind of starts to angle. This guy here.
So where's the leaf there?
The leaf is hiding right in here.
Okay.
And there's a leaf here and there. So he might have to have one more petal here because the leaf is hiding there. So let's stick that one last puzzle in. Let's see. All right, I'm going to go clean them up here a little bit more. Yes, daisies are time consuming because you got to wipe them out. I did a wet on wet wipe out. I'm sure there's different ways to paint them. All right, this guy here, his leaf is by him. Started to clean out your centers. All right. You should have something like this going. If you don't like any of your petals, fix them now. And then we'll add our green and fix our outside border. I'm just going to fix my petals again. Wipe out petals again. Wiping out the petals is the time consuming, but you want to get your petals looking good so when you put your next coat on, you're really just wiping out the color again. I think I got my flowers looking pretty good. And he should be there. Oh, there. All right. I guess it's looking. I think I'm going to go for the leaves and then we'll put the yellow in. All right, with the leaves, I just kind of outline them. because then when you come with your second fire, you can put the color in really the leaves. So there is a leaf here. I'm just gonna try that.
Okay, sketching with your brush.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna show you when you see a daisy leaf, they're really raggedy. They're kind of long and they got sharper edges to them. I just want to show you. There is a main vein there. You really see it, but each of the leaves are kind of like, well, I guess jaggedy. I mean, look at all the sharp, 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 sharp. This guy here, even we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A lot of the pointy outies, I guess I want to call them. I'll call them pointy outies. So on our pattern here, we're just trying to sneak that in there a little bit. A little there, a little there, a little there. I mean, I just kind of rough it in, and then when my second fire comes, I can really more give it a define. It's there, but it's not 100%. I'm going to go to the big one now, where the big one's going to cut into here. And he's going to cut into here. And then this is when he kind of gives that edge to that guy. I'm just trying to give it some pokies. I'm just trying to,
So you're kind of sketching with your brush.
sketching them in with my brush. It's just to kind of give that leaf back into its position and give it a, I do give it a wild edge to it. And then this guy here, he's going to come all the way here. He might have to be a little bigger yet. The other guy, going to come up into here. Take your paint off your brush every once in a while.
You pull from the outer edge in.
Yep, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to get him so that he kind of looks like he's underneath the daisy. And then I can see from the picture, he's got to be a little bigger, this guy. He might have to be a little bigger, and then the guy next to him might have to be a little bigger. But if you can't get your little rippies in now, on your second coat, they'll come alive then. So, they'll come alive.
So this is all wipeout. You don't put the color in.
No color in except the yellow of the centers this fire. But this guy here, I gotta make him a little bigger. Naturally, the two. And then if you want, you can add your highlight in. Oh, we got one more leaf up here in the corner to do.
There.
Can you see?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
good.
kind of outlining my leaves that were kind of like on the pattern. I am giving them like a little bit of texture with the veins. And put your main leaf in there. But you're going to come back with the green and it's really going to go over that. You won't. All right, we got one more little flower up in here that we got to sneak in here, or a main leaf. See about where he's sneaking in here. Trying to give it a couple of those pokey edges. Not real big, but all right. Now you can really, you could add a little highlight up in here to try to take it out. And then I seen on my other guy a little highlight maybe right here. Try to give a little white spot to it on the leaf, just so that when our second coat comes, we got just a little bit of a highlight. Kind of. He's hard to put in there to make him smooth. And then on this guy, his highlights over here. So if we can just make him a little lighter in one spot, he'll come alive on next fire. Boop. He wasn't supposed to go there, but it's pretty good. We got another one. I kind of can show you one that I've already fired. You know, my lines are a little too bright here. But that's kind of your, oh, we just got to go over our edges again.
What do you mean by too bright?
What do I think? I just think my lines are too instinct on this one. But that's just me. I mean, to say I tried to give them a little outline. All right, we got to put our yellow centers in, and then we got to go back around the edge and like add our blue and our yellow in a little bit and get it so that it looks a little better background. So I am going to take my Q-tip and wipe out the little bit of the circle. All right, and then after you get done with that, you want to take your big brush again, go over your yellows a little bit. Try to smooth everything back out again, and then we'll pounce her. More yellow up in here. Now we got to fix our pink. Put it in the pink and try to just smooth everything back out again, and then we'll give it a little pounce again, and that's your first coat. Let's put the centers in. Every time I put them in with my big brush, though, they get a little too big. So yeah, that's my stem. Green. Try another. Just go to a smaller little brush. Stick your yellow centers in. Just kind of smooth them in there, because we're going to come over with more color on the second fire, and that'll make them look a little more realistic. Right now, we just gotta tap our mountains out of there again. And just lightly tapping, just to try to take some of them lines out. That's kind of your first fire.
Okay, now you have a first fire, you can show them.
Yeah, really, it's right here. Let's say I got this first fire. I got this second. This is another first fire.
So now what would you do on this first fire to make it like your second?
This is my second. This is my second fire. So yeah, now we're gonna go like we fired that.
Okay.
Now we're going for a second coat.
They're really matte. Show them how. See how matte it is?
Yeah.
When they're done, I'm amazed.
Yeah. Well, it's just putting the color all on again. Oh, which again, this is how we're gonna start. For your second fire, you're gonna go over with that blue. I got a big brush here. It's a 5/8, and I'm just gonna go back over with the blue again. Does it? I mean to say, we're just gonna kind of sneak them in there. Kind of wherever your blue is. And I'm gonna kind of smooth it out. I think I'm gonna put my colors back in again right now. I'm gonna go with that pink. And sneak the pink back in again. You mix the pink and the blue together, you'll get a little bit of purple. All right, got pink in there. Maybe it's a little too bright, but all depends on how you feel like painting today. Okay, you just want to add some more pink to the lower part of it. It'll make your leaves will pop when we get more green in them here in a bit. Yeah, I guess you call this kind of painting wet on wet. All right, so I got some more pink stuck in there. Stink my yellow in there. Trying to blend them all together again. So you just kind of repeated your colors again. I don't know if I'm going to pat it yet. I'm going to wait. All right. Now with your Q-tip, go in there and wipe out your petals again and try to get some of that blue off your leaves. If you did, it's okay if you did. But now I'm going to go in there and take the blue out again. But hopefully it's going to make your flower pop up. It's pretty. So I know daisies seem to be time consuming because you do a lot of wiping out. But I didn't know how else to get the flowers to pop up if you didn't stick the color back in again. Yep, we'll come back in with our brush, clean our edges again. And then it's more or less, the only thing we got to do is put our centers in and do our leaves again. Okay, we got two of them coming around. There we go. Please. Another one. All right, I'm going to go back in. You took the two-tip, take your yellow or the blues out of your yellow centers. And then I think I'm going to go back in with my little brush again and my denature alcohol. And just really go around those edges a little bit. But I like to keep some of the
What color?
I mean, the blue in there. But hopefully it stayed in from the time before. Try to get rid of all that excess blue, maybe. Okay, we'll go in and do our centers and then we'll do our leaf and then we'll pat our background because we'll see if we got to add a little more color. I think we might take the little bit of blue out of my leaf here a little bit. It could stay, but it's okay. All right, we got something like this looking. Oop, we got to clean out this little bit of blue in the circle. Okay, now you're going to go to your smaller brush, but we're just going to take that little bit of orchid, okra.
Or even a yellow brown.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just going to lightly, you're going to do your C stroke in the middle. Down there. And then if you really, you can kind of like dot it going around it there. And then I just kind of see it again. And you see it again. And I've been just kind of dotting the ones around. Oops, you got a little bit too much. Putting the dots. So what I did is I taken my brush and I C-stroked it here, and then I dotted little dots going around the outer perimeter here of it. Which I don't. I'm just trying to make them tiny and petite, like.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and then you got to add the little center to the. There's a little center dot in the middle, like a bit of illusion.
It's a little close.
Illusion. And then where is our wipeout tool? We just kind of really want to wipe out a little bit of the center part there. He's just got a little center going to him. And then it doesn't. I can kind of. All right. It's looking kind of halfway all right. Okay, now we want to go back in and, oh, we got to do our green leaves first. Yep. Just debate whether I should smooth it before I do the green leaves. But we'll put in the green leaves first. Okay, I got a big number 10 here going, and we're going to put in some of that shading green. I'm going to go in there and put that color in up with there. And I'm going to try to leave those little pokey things on the leaf. Remember how that leaf is really pointy?
Mm-hmm.
So now's your chance to kind of put them in. Oh, he's got to kind of kiss this flower a little bit more, though. So it's looking like that. He could probably go more here to his petal. And put point. Okay, going into the next one here. Okay, I got number 2 going. Let's see if we can put his little middle down on that pad. All right, now to your baby or the next guy. Oop, I got a little green on him now. Make your green sneak in there. Settle there. A little spiky there. A little spiky there. You turned out better.
Yes.
All right, a little bit more paint in ya. You got to get this little guy up here. Somehow we got to give him a point. Got to give him a point. Gotta give him a point. Give him a point. 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 Okay. Somewhat like that. Now we're gonna go back and smooth all our colors back out because we got to put some stems in it. So smooth your pink back out.
That's good.
Take and smooth your yellow back out. I can take my blue just a little bit, but not much. Then I'm gonna pat them again. Just slightly, lightly. If you pat too hard, then you leave too much of an impression of the fun gem. Oh, the only other thing we got to do now is sneak in our little bit of stems.
Yep.
So that's just really taking a small little brush. And I try to think of how the daisies go, but yep. All right, a little bit of green. And I'm going to still do them in that shading green color, I guess. And this, you got to just be good because you kind of just wing it in there. But you want to go tiny. And then this guy's going to come here. Nice and cross.
Nice.
I mean, you guys can put a third color on it, but I think if you put your color on now, you're pretty well good. Yep, I'm pretty much done.
Okay, everybody, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Next time we will have a pattern, colors, and brush sizes available for you before on the Michigan World Organization of China Painting site so that you have that information if you want to paint along.